Greetings everyone, welcome to Let's Talk. Today we are going to be talking about relationships. I've got two young, fine ladies I'm going to be interacting with. My name is Christopher Munetsi, also known as SaSpargettie, dealing in relationships, family, counseling and marriage. So today we're going to be discussing on a topic: is she the right person? How can you find out? I'm going to ask my ladies to introduce themselves before we start.
Oh, thank you very much for the lovely introduction. My name is Sandile Mlilo. I'm a media practitioner at Africa Light.
Well, my name is Linda Sithole, also known as Sonkomose. I'm a poet, I'm an actress, I'm a dancer, I'm many things. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Today on our topic, we're going to be discussing things that will enlighten us, and then we're going to be interacting with my fine young ladies. To kickstart our program today, I want us to have healthy relationships, and I want us to have bright future. If people want to be happy, there are certain things that they should look into at the beginning of relationships. So for you to be happy in the later future is for you to be wise before. So looking at, to find out the one who's going to make you happy, what do you think you need to do from the beginning? Is that so? So, what do you think about our topic today?
I think that's a profound topic. It's really a topic that tackles the things that our generation is a victim of, because you realize that if you don't make a choice about your tomorrow, there are going to be consequences that are going to follow after that. So I think this is a topic that is relevant to our generation, that is profound. I think really it's something that has not been talked about. Some people, they shy away. Most people, they shy away from all of these things. But I think it's really good that today we've got the opportunity to talk and to interact on such things. And we are here today to deliberate. It's not us just presenting. We want to talk to you guys at home. We want to interact, to get to know your views. What do you guys think? Is there anything called the one? The so-called the one? Things like that. So in order for you to get in touch with us, you can get us at Africa Light Foundation on Instagram and on Facebook. Again, it's at Africa Light Foundation. Yes, talk to us, guys. We need your input on this one.
Exactly. This topic, I think it's going to help a lot of people, because they are so ignorant. Relationship, you know, then boom, you start to see it leading to suicides.
I'm a
surprise. Yeah. But we are all and we need to wake up. We need to see and learn to identify is he or she the one.
Okay, thank you. Next, I want us to also notice there are certain tools that can help us understand if ever what we have is really the one. The guy that you have, the girl, the lady that you have, is she the one? Or before she becomes, or before he becomes the one, or you notice that he is the one. The question, the golden question that you need to ask yourself is, are you the one?
Okay.
Are you the one for the relationship? Or are you the right person for the relationship? And if you are the right person for the relationship, are you attracting the right person to you as the right person? Or you are going to be two wrong people in a right relationship?
Okay. I think that's, if you bring it, now you are bringing it a different angle to it. Because in most cases, we are usually focusing on the other person.
Right.
To say, he's like this, he's wealthy, he's this, he's a hunk, blah, 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 blah. But then we don't focus on you as the significant other in that relationship. So I think these are issues that are so relevant to our generation if we are to have successful and healthy relationships in the long run.
Right. And also, before I give it to you, put into perspective that when you're analyzing or when you just gotten into a relationship, there are certain aspects that you need to put first as priorities.
Okay.
For example, it's okay to be excited about getting into a relationship, but it's foolish to make a judgment based on an excitement.
Oh.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So what must we do to be careful not to be excited and make a life decision, yet we haven't yet evaluated the person? What must we do? What do you think, girls?
I think Sonkomose omunye umuntu, you know, omunye umuntu once said, never make a decision now. It's ukuthabe kakhulu or uzonde kakhulu or ifeeling yakho ngana iqedakala, you know, because you are prone to making the wrong decision.
Okay.
So I think okuqhakathekileyo ukuthi before getting into that relationship, know why you want to be in that relationship.
Nice one.
If you know why I want to be in a relationship, then you know the kind of a person that you're looking for ukuthi abe partner yakho in a relationship.
Alright.
Then I think you have a start.
Okay. You have something to say?
Yeah, I do. There's this one person that I once listened to. That person said, you as a person, as an individual, right? You need to be comfortable to be in a space alone, be in a position of being happy alone before you are happy with the next person.
Alright.
Because if you are happy alone, it means to say your happiness is not attached to that person.
Right.
Whether that person is there, whether that person is not there, you can be yourself and you can be happy. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are that independent, you are self-established, you are self-sufficient, you are self-assured, so that you can be able to relate with the next person independently. Because especially for us ladies, we tend to be vulnerable when we get into relationships because we invest our happiness, our everything,
everything.
Yes, on that person.
Yes.
So
and you forget about yourself.
Yes, which leads to us having things like depression when that person doesn't meet our expectations. Because we are with you. No. He's my happiness, he's my everything. But be happy on your own, be assured, be sufficient on your own. Then you can be able to love the next person and be in a healthy relationship with the next person. That's my view.
Okay, so it's quite interesting as you are getting it from the panelists, and what's very important from what my sisters are saying is be yourself and have a self-identity. And the person that you are going to have, you are going to index them according to your expectations, your values, your ethics, your principles, so that on your own you are happy. You don't look for someone to make you happy. So when you are now in a relationship, you are contributing something. You are not a passenger, you are a participant. When we are looking at finding out if he is the one, if she is the one, what is the one or who is the one according to a woman maybe? What is the one according to a man? Because those are things that we need to understand. Looking at understanding why you're getting into a relationship.
To me, the one is that person that you really want to spend the rest of your life with.
Okay.
That person, you have confidence walking around with.
Alright.
That person, you have confidence to say, meet him.
So you're confident to introduce them to your friends and relatives. You are not embarrassed.
Yes. And
Okay.
the one is someone whom you think, Uti, I'll be happy with the person. What does he have? What does he do? But who? Yeah, that is the one.
Okay, interesting. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Okay. When someone says the next person is the one or might be the one, to me the first thing that kicks to my mind is compatibility.
All right.
You have to be compatible with the next person. Like there are a lot of things. Like, have you ever heard people saying, see a click?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So that click, that spark has to be there.
Maybe before you go any further, clicker, Google. So you need also expand on
Yes,
that.
yes. Okay, it has to be in every aspect. We have to be compatible in terms of our belief systems.
Right.
We have to be compatible in terms of our education.
All right.
We have to be compatible even in terms of age. We have to be compatible in terms of our thought patterns,
All right.
our ideologies, things like that. So to me, basically, before I talk of the looks, it's compatibility.
Okay. That's nice. So, what kind of a relationship is that? Because we also need to understand what people can be compatible. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of a relationship? Is it an open relationship? Is it a marriage relationship? The relationship that's called mutual relationship, or it's going to be a polygamous relationship? What are we talking about? Or it's a temporal relationship, or it's a sexual relationship? Because sometimes you may be compatible in other aspects. Then you find that there are 2 or 3 things. Is it going to defeat the whole purpose in I want to ask, maybe starting from you.
Okay, so what we're basically talking about here, I was just thinking that we are so lucky, this generation is so lucky to have people like you, SaSpargettie, people who are so keen, who are so invested in trying to establish or trying to help people have a healthy relationship. And I believe that the reason why we want to have healthy relationships is because we want those relationships to lead to somewhere. They are not just casual relationships, but they are relationships which are leading to a lifetime commitment, to marriage. So if we are talking about the one, we are saying the one is for marriage.
All right. No, that's fine. Yes.
Right. I understand we're talking about finding if he or she is the one. But I'm sure there are listeners out there, viewers, who are wondering, are those guys saying that we should carry out a research before you come into or before you vuma that guy and we're anxious, and then I have to go online, Google. Who is Tamsana? Where is Tamsana coming from? What has Tamsana done? Or I think we need to explain, maybe when SaSpargettie, you are the perfect candidate to explain to our viewers, what do we mean when we say finding out?
Okay. What we have to understand, we are talking about people who are new to each other. That's the first point.
Yes.
We're not talking about people who are 5 years. And if they're 5 years and not knowing each other, it's too late.
So it's a problem.
There is a chance, of course. There is a chance, of course. But I want us to then help them find out at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because in 5 years, 2 years, you would have invested a lot. A lot of time, emotions, a lot of money. Because also a relationship is also nicer when there's money.
And you're also edgy, wasting time.
Exactly. So before you find out that you're not compatible when you're now 5 years, you need to realize that from the beginning. So what it entails is, for you to research, you need to be clear on what you want and what you're expecting. And the kind of a person you want, it has to be clear.
Yeah.
If you do not want umuntu slim, it has to be clear, and you have to be honest with yourself enough to be honest for the next person.
Yes.
Point number 2, what we want to understand, what we want also to share, is that carrying out a research entails that you are involved. You are not passive. You are not being told what to do in the relationship, but you're also trying to invest yourself into the relationship so that when you are happy and you make a life decision, you are satisfied by your findings. So what do? You have to use 1, 2, 3 things that I'll mention. Use your eyes. Be satisfied, look, observe. If you see red flags, point them out. And when you point them out, you're using the second thing. Use your mouth. When you're using your mouth, you're asking questions. You are telling. And if you're asking questions, you are saying, what is this? What do you want? Where are we going? Who are you? What are you? Those are questions that you use when you're researching. You are finding out. Then you also use your ears. Your ears have to be all participative and all active. For example, you do not need to have selective listening to hear only what you want to hear, but you have to hear everything. Then when you're making a conclusion, you have deduced the relationship to if this person really is compatible. Then the last thing that I want us to do, let's use our mind, our head. Before we use our hearts, let's use our heads. Then our heads will make us decide, if this is the wrong person, let me leave. Before I invest a lot, I waste a lot. And let me judge, evaluate, decide, calculate, then you come up with the answer. You get the sense?
Yeah.
So you ladies, maybe from the youth perspective, excitement is the one that kills people.
Yes, being blinded by love.
So I want us also to talk about, from the youth perspective, I know I've been there, but youth of today, the way you are so much jumping from relationship to relationship, what is wrong? Is it that you don't know the person, or you would have discovered the person and the person is no longer interesting there and there, or what's happening? Can you walk us through?
So people move from one relationship to another based on a number of reasons. From what I've observed, at one point you've been in a relationship and you've assumed that this person is the one. But then I think there are a number of things to consider, and those number of things are the factors that might lead to you to moving from one relationship to another. The reason why is I think it takes us back to what we've been saying back in the beginning of our presentation, that you wouldn't have done the background checks, the research on the person, things like that. We tend to be in a relationship and focus on one side and ignore some of these things in a relationship, because at one point we've all have found the one. We have someone, we assume that they are the one, they are ticking all the boxes. Like as ladies, we usually have those lists that if the guy is a hunk, if the guy is cute, if the guy is dark and handsome and drives a Porsche and drives wada, then he's the one. But we ignore the fundamentals in a relationship. I think that is the reason why we end up moving from one relationship to another, because we tend to ignore some of these things. And sometimes we invest in the wrong place of investment, And you know, someone can be the right person, can be the one, but not be the one for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Before you go on that one, I also understand, especially when you're talking about from moving from relationship to relationship,
Yes.
hip hopping from one
Mm.
relationship to the other, it creates what is called a relationship history.
Okay.
So when you're in the when you have multiple relationships, don't you think, because we want to help each other to
Yeah.
reduce
Yes.
more numbers of relationships to one person
Yes.
and have that person for as long as you can be with them? Because right now what is killing most people is having many relationships, and much of those relationships you are investing a lot, including sexual activity, money and time. So how can we avoid that? Because we want to reduce to one person. Ube was from the beginning one and you go, before you waste a lot of things. What can we do?
I think it goes back to where we started, where we said you need to know why you want to be in a relationship.
Okay.
Because in most cases, abantu, they just go into relationships because ubani is in a relationship. And abanye abantu, they go into a relationship besasebancane. When you haven't experienced izinto eziningi, then you decide to be in a relationship. Ube lo guy wakho, liyenza ezinye izinto, and then ngokuya kwesikhathi you meet someone else. You are introduced to new things. One way or the other, you would want to dump that guy and move on to the next guy. Or you are a guy, so date lo mntwana, then you discover no, she's young. Then you need the other one. So
you're multiplying relationships, you're doing what is called trial and error kind of relationships. So that's what is actually affecting most people.
Yeah.
So I think we all agree that you should first of all put in place what kind of a relationship. It goes back to our point, is it a monogamous relationship? Is it an open relationship? Is it a trial relationship? Is it a sexual relationship? Or is it a rebound relationship? Yes. There are other people who move on because they just want to belong. They are hurt by their ex. So they just want to move on. So moving on, the history will tell us a lot. So I don't know what you think, but the history of relationship will tell us a lot. What would you feel about someone who has gone on multiple relationships? And what can you do when you hear about that?
Okay, that raises eyebrows because if this person has been in multiple relationships, we have a lot of things to consider in that. Firstly, you have to consider that what was the reason behind this person hopping from one relationship to another. It's possible that that person might have been a victim in that relationship, or it's possible that that person might be the perpetrator in that relationship. So you see, it raises some questions. So you need to be thorough in investigating. But I'm sure some people, they are not so open to tell you. Someone has said that men are not an open book. I stand to be corrected. I don't know much about that. So it's not easy to get facts out of some people, and whether it's men, whether it's women. But then the fact that that person has been in a lot of relationships, it's either that person is not emotionally stable, or generally they can't be with one person for,
or they are not faithful.
Yes, for a whole length of time. So we have to be thorough. And again, it brings us to checking their background. You know, some people, they come from broken families. right? And they have a history with broken relationships. So for that person to maintain and to be committed to a relationship with you, it becomes so hard. So you need to do that background check. And sometimes you can't just dismiss someone just because they have been in a lot of relationships. We don't know the reason why they have been in those relationships.
All right. Adding on to that, you asked a question about how can we reduce abantu ukuthi move from one relationship to another. The fundamental thing is to know why you need to be in a relationship. And you have to understand if you are getting into a relationship, you are getting into an empty room with whoever you want to be in a relationship with. Okay. So it's up to you guys to fill that room with whatever things that you want. Ungabi lama expectations amaningi ukuthi ngizathi ngingena endlini ngithole kulama tiles, kulama property, kulama mirror everywhere. No, it's an empty room. Okay. You guys need to put those tiles, those mirrors, those everything into your relationship.
Okay. The other thing that I thought you guys were going to talk about is the concept of understanding if ever this is love or infatuation.
Okay.
Because when one is excited, and you can notice that they can get into a relationship for a wrong reason.
Yeah.
Because they're excited about being nice. Oh, you know, it's nice. Oh, you know, it's got this and that. At the end of the day, you end up failing to calculate if ever they are nice in nature.
Yeah.
They can be nice in your eyes, but are they nice in nature? So, I want our next episode to discuss going further on how can we engage relatives, families, to find out if you guys are compatible, as you said. Are you also compatible with their families, with their workmates, with their friends? Because those are other what we call stakeholders of the relationship. Isn't it so? So we want to thank you, our viewers, for this episode that we've had today. I had two fine, young, beautiful, gorgeous ladies who were sharing the stage